Hi, welcome to my page. Today I will share with you some life lessons that I learned in the kitchen apart from cooking. Now, as a little girl growing up in rural St. Mary, most of the tasks we used to do, it was done mechanically in the kitchen. We had to ox the coconut, we had to manually grate the coconut before we cook. We had to do everything by hand. We didn't have any blender, we didn't have any pressure pot. And so during that time, because it was a long, tedious process, a lot of lessons were taught in the kitchen while my mother and I cook. Now, during these cooking lessons, she would teach me a lot of songs, a lot of jingles, a lot of rhymes, a lot of poems, but that is for another video. Now, I will be sharing with you some soft skills that I learned in the kitchen. And the first one is time management. Time management, you say, how so? But because a lot of the task was done manually, we know that we had to make sure that the peas cook at a set time. We had to know that once the peas float, we had to go sink it. We had to know that, and basically in those days in the country, dinner would be ready by midday. So oftentimes we would not get any, what we would call a big breakfast. So we would get some tea or some crackers and maybe bread or sandwich or something, because Sunday dinner would be ready between 12 and 1 o'clock. So we had to manage our time properly. We have to make sure that the meat is seasoned. We have to make sure that it is on the fire at a particular time. We have to make sure that it takes X amount of time. And for us growing up, Sunday dinner was rice and peas and chicken. Now, as I get a little bit older, maybe about 4 or 5, I remember it was more than just rice and peas and chicken, because my dad loved cowhead and bean. And my mom just loved to cook my dad's favorite. So for how about cowhead and bean, then without a pressure pot, it would be very long. And so she would have to get up early, put on it, while attending to us as kids, make sure the washing is going on, the clothes is being prepared for iron for school the next day, all of that. So time management was something that we learned. Another thing that I learned was multitasking, and you can pick up that from my explanation for time management, because while the dinner is being prepared, the juice is being done, then we have mommy looking about us as kids, the clothes being washed, the clothes being put on the line, and of course, I had to help to do all of these things. No matter, I can remember vividly, like about 5, 6, 7, I was helping my mommy to put the clothes on the line, and it actually started from handing her the clothespins until I actually start doing it myself. Now back to the kitchen. So I had to know how to look at the meat, look at the rice and peas, look about the juice at the same time. We have to do all of that. So multitasking was a task that I also learned. Now, another thing that I learned is basically, we call it now in education, make it inference. It's like reading between the lines. You know, you see your mommy putting the salt in the pot, and she put in a bit of salt and she would stir it, and then she would take the spoon and taste it. And then basically what you get from that, if it doesn't have enough salt, she would add a little bit more. Or if it's perfect or just right, then she would leave it just as it is. So you learn that, basically you don't get everything, it's not stated explicitly. So you have to read between the line, because trust me, when the pot's salt, it can't unsalt. So better little is more, because you can always add more salt to it. Another thing we learned basically through inference is observation. We had to observe, because she ain't gonna tell you that, listen, the meat brown on one side, it's time to turn it over because you dare not burn up the chicken. And you don't want the burnt piece of chicken on your plate. So we had to learn a lot of observation. We have to observe in order to do things. Another thing is measuring. Measuring how much sugar we're gonna need. How much, I mean, the sugar is not so bad because if it's like the juice, you can always add more water to it. But then again, it depends on the juice. Because if you add more water to the juice, then for example, like your carrot juice or your good old soursop juice, you can't spoil soursop juice. No. So if you add too much water, it will go water down, what we call it, it water down the juice. So I had to learn measuring skills. Another thing was food presentation. Now you dare not, for all who in my age group are older than me, or no know so the banana them can't go on the plate black. You know that the banana they have to turn a particular way and to curve around the dumpling and the yam or whatever. And you can't put up no big old junk of yam, whatever you call it. Your parents or your grandparents said, no junk up the yam. You can't put no big old junk of yam on the plate. So food presentation was important. You want to make sure that you have a little color. And how the food plate on it, how it's plated, it will determine how easy it is on the eye. Because you eat with the eye, basically you eat with the eyes. So that is another soft skill I use. And your pre-preparational skills. Get all your ingredients that you need before you actually start cooking. Because when you're cooking, you can't realize, hey, I run out of salt. Oh, I ain't got no sugar. Or I ain't got the oil I need to cook. Because again, time management is important. And so those are just some of the soft skills that I've learned in the kitchen. I'm sure that you can think of others and you can always add them to the comment section. I welcome your comments. Thank you.